Everybody, welcome back to Mohawk Motors. My name is Jason, and my parts have all come in for the front suspension on the silver single cab. So we're gonna get the last couple old pieces off and get all the new stuff on, and then get this thing sitting on its own weight. I hope that's the plan. So I've got all my new parts here. Upper control arms, dust shields, sway bar end links, inner tie rod ends, outer tie rod ends, wheel bearings, bump stops, lower control arms, springs, shock absorbers. All the hardware is all cleaned up, ready to go. I've got it all here, it's all ready. And I even got a little head start on taking things apart, and then we're gonna start putting things back together. So this is the first time I've replaced inner and outer tie rods on a two-wheel drive truck. But it turns out it's a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. It's not a big deal. So on two-wheel drive trucks, you've got your, your rack and pinion here, right? And at the end, you've got a little collar holding this boot onto your inner tie rod end. So to get these apart, they've come from the factory with these little, I don't know what to call them except for bastard clips. So you pry the end off, you can get it off. They're not reusable. Once you take it apart, it's trash. So I'm probably gonna end up replacing those with just some hose clamps just to keep that boot tight on there. Once you take this off, you undo the little spring clamp on this side, and you can slide the boot out to the end of the inner tie rod, which gives you access to the cylinder itself and the end of your inner tie rod. This part here, oh, that's dripping grease all over my toolbox. Nice. This part just unthreads out of the cylinder. Boom. Old unthreads out, just standard thread, and then new piece threads back in. And I was able to just use a pipe wrench to unscrew that out of there. So now I'm going to take a measurement of my old inner and outer tie rod assembly. That way I can try to put my new ones together as close to that size as possible. Then I'll slide my boot over my new inner tie rods and then assemble. Let me see if I can't set you up where you can see. Okay, so like I said, first I need a measurement. I want to try to get my inner end as straight as possible. I'm going to measure from the shoulder. I'm going to measure from this shoulder to the grease zerk, and that should give me a pretty easy to reference number. So from that shoulder, I'm going to call that 15 9/16 to the center of the zerk. And I am going to write it down. There we go. Now I get to try to bust this apart, which, who knows, maybe it'll cooperate. Probably it won't. Just right. Okay, got those hooked up. Let's see here. Got it. Get the old Greek impact here. Whoop. There we go. Break it loose. Old tie rod end, now scrap metal. Probably need to hold on to that somehow. Little jam nut coming off. Little spring clamp. Boot. Well, that needs a cleaning. And now these are scrap metal. Now cleaning. I'll clean the boot. I'll clean my workbench. I'm going to clean the cylinder. Just wipe it off with a rag. It's just got oil on it that has leaked past the seals over the years. So we're just going to get all this stuff cleaned up, and then we'll start putting things back together. Okay, everything's cleaned up. Now the nice thing about all these new parts is they're all painted already. So take the jam nut off of my new inner tie rod, slip the boot over, slip the spring clamp over, jam nut back on, and then our new tie rod end. Now I'll just get this threaded on and adjusted to our 15 and 9/16, same length as the old one. And that'll at least get us close enough that we can get this thing driven to an alignment shop when it's all done. But it is going to need an alignment, especially, you know, we're lowering it and we're putting all new front suspension and steering components. It's going to need a good front end alignment. All right, let's measure that, see if we're close. That's nice and straight. 15 3/4. Gotta go a little bit more. Let's see what that's got us there. 15 5/8. Maybe one more turn. There, 15 and 9/16. Like I said, that'll be close enough that we can get it to the alignment shop and get a proper alignment done. Tighten the jam nut up just so it doesn't go loose on us when we're driving down the road. There we go. Now we got to put this back on the rack and pinion. All right, so you can see we got a couple flat spots on our inner piece here. So all we got to do is thread it in, and we'll use those flat spots to tighten it up into the ram. There we go. Can you see what I'm doing there? Can you see what I'm doing? Thread this in. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I got to put my hose clamp over so I can retighten the inside of this boot. Okay, so hose clamp right there. Now, tie rod. Give it a little snug with my pipe wrench here. There we go. And when it's time, I can go ahead and tighten this down. I'm not to that point yet though. I want to do the other side before I start tightening anything. Inner and outer tie rods on both sides taken care of. Let's do some control arms. So, upper and lower control arms. The upper control arms are symmetrical, which basically means there is no left or right upper control arm. They are both the same, which makes installation quite simple. Take your little caster camber bolt. I guess first slide your control arm in where it needs to be. There we go. Take your bolt. Don't forget your little adjusters. And then your nut. And same in the back. That's your upper and your lower. Basically same process. The only difference with the lower is these are not symmetrical. So you have to make sure you get it installed pointing the right direction. Front. Rear. Ta-da. There we go. Nothing needs to be tightened up yet. We're not going to tighten anything until it's sitting on its own weight with the cab and everything back on it. Now we need our new coil springs, we need a jack, and we need our steering knuckle. Alright, so the instructions do say to reuse the factory spring isolator, which really, guys, is just here to cut down on noise. Why do you not want to fit in there? There she goes. There she goes. Oh, we gotta rotate. I gotta rotate. That's pretty good. Oh. Nice little knot slid on there. Now we need a jack. That is lifting the weight of the frame. Ta-da! Got that part bolted on. Now, sway bar. It looks like I'm going to have interference. I think I need to get my steering components under my sway bar. I need to pay attention to how they were before. There we go. There's my little drag tie rod. Tie rod is started. Woo! Keep my cotter pin right there for now. All right. Sway bar link. There we go. Ta-da. Ta. All right, that puts everything loosely together on this side, except for, you know, the spinny parts, the bearing, the brakes, etc. Woo-wee! Oh wait, shock. We need the shock absorber. Shock absorber. There we go. And these come up from underneath. There we go. You know what? Maybe we just leave it until we have the wheels and tires on it. I think that's the play. So, boom. There we go. Mostly on. Now I'll just do the same thing on the other side. Ooh. Well, team, I have a confession to make. It's actually Thursday evening now. It's actually almost midnight on Thursday. I came down here on Tuesday and I putzed around and cleaned up, but I just could not motivate myself to get anything done. But this evening, I'm motivated. I want to move the needle. I got to get this thing going. I'm so close to being able to sit the engine in it and start getting some of the jewelry onto this thing that I got to move the needle. I got to keep going. So here's what we did this evening. We got the front crossmember back in, transmission crossmember back in. The two little supporting strut bars that run diagonally here and here. Those are, paint is drying on those. I've got my fuel tank support straps cleaned up. Paint is drying on those. I'm in process of sandblasting my body mount cups because that's going to be coming soon, and I'd rather, you know, just keep, while I'm in the mood to blast, just keep on blasting stuff. And I'm hopeful, if things go well tomorrow evening, I think I can sit the engine back in this thing on probably Saturday during the day, which that'll be a big move. Get the engine and transmission bolted in, then I can get the exhaust put on, which I'm so excited for this exhaust, guys. It's going to be pretty sick. And get the gas tank in, get out the fuel lines, the new stainless fuel lines, get everything on the chassis all hunky-dory where it belongs, tight and right, so that then we can sit the body back on and start doing body work. I'm really optimistic that, let's see, you'll see this video on Monday. I'm optimistic that I'm going to be able to end this video with the engine and transmission sitting back in the chassis. So that's it for tonight. I'm going to go get some rest, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, it's almost 9 o'clock Friday evening. I'm out of time for the day. You didn't miss anything super exciting. I got these two cross members bolted in. They're all done being painted up. They're ready to go. I got my motor mount brackets bolted in, so they are ready for the engine to be sat down onto them. And I finished blasting and got the first coat of primer on my guys. I'm editing this and seeing, I keep saying motor mounts and motor mount cups and motor mount hardware. This stuff that I'm pointing to and talking about right here is for body mounts. I'm going to be using urethane body mounts. These are the body mount cups and the body mount bolts. But the rest of what I need, the washer, the actual bushings itself, those come with my new urethane bushings. But that's it for today. I'm out of time. I'm going to get back down here, hit it hard and early tomorrow morning, because I really want to get the engine and transmission sitting in this thing this weekend. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, everybody. Well, it's now Sunday evening. I was out here a little bit yesterday morning, Saturday morning, but then we had a landscaping project that just wound up taking way longer than I ever thought it was going to take. We did get it done, but that ate up the whole day. I wasn't able to get back out here yesterday afternoon or evening to finish up. And I came out again this morning, did some more, had stuff to do during the day, back out here now. And I just finished up what I think is it's our rolling chassis. Our rolling chassis, unless I'm forgetting something, is ready. So we've got, you can see here, what have I done? The front suspension is all together. You've seen that already. It's sitting on its own weight. You saw that too. I did get the chassis harness back on, routed, clipped, secured, held in place. All the factory mounting locations, all the factory clips, everything done up, including all the grounds, all of my grounds. One back here, two up on the front body mount, which these two I've seen these cause problems. Sanded down to bare frame, cleaned up the ground connectors themselves, put it together, and then painted over top. I got the fuel tank ground as well, same way. Those are all done up. You can see I've got the fuel tank hung back in the frame, as well as the fuel sending unit in it, ready to go. New sending unit, new pump. You'll see that video on Friday. And all of my bars, all of my cross members, everything is, guys, I think it's, unless I'm forgetting something, it's ready to have the engine and transmission set back in it. Unfortunately, I'm out of time on this video. I think this is a good transition point to go ahead and wrap this one up, and we'll start a new one with me getting the engine and transmission plopped down into this thing. But man, I gotta tell you, like, this is invigorating for me. This is real. This is progress. This is things happening, and this is getting it put back together better than it ever was, that's really what I'm excited for. My friend Matt was here this weekend, or this past weekend. You've seen him in a few videos, but he stopped by to check out everything and see what was going on. And he said, "Oh, you're building a show truck." And I hadn't thought about it, but man, after being at these past couple Carlisle shows, I think he's right. Like, this whole thing, top to bottom, is as good as I can make it, which I think, in my opinion, and probably other people's opinions, is show quality. And I'm pretty proud of that. So I'm excited to keep making progress on this thing. Next video, we're gonna get the engine and transmission in it, get the drivetrain back in it. And yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be exciting. So I'm leaving it here. Sometimes it's tough to get down here, but I always think you got to move the needle, Jason. Move the needle. And if you have a project, make sure you move your needle also. Till the next video, everybody, take care. For anybody curious about the landscaping project, right along here, 20 Leland cypress and 4 fruit trees. And they accidentally forgot to send us 2 Leland cypress. I still have 2 more to plant when they get here. All hand dug. It was exhausting.